Hello everyone and welcome to today's Stocks and Crypto YouTube Charts video. I am NoFOMO Charts. Today is Sunday, July 5, 2026. It's after 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the USA. Welcome everyone. This is a swing trading and investing YouTube Charts video and channel. This upcoming week, we have stock earnings releases from companies such as Pepsi and Delta Airlines. Economic data, we have services PMI, FOMC meeting minutes, and unemployment claims. Recent news, President Trump recently signed executive orders to boost quantum computing research and enhance quantum security in the USA. The new Fed Chairman Warsh said that inflation is too high, but he also noted the outlook has improved since last June. SK Hynix files for a NASDAQ IPO, which will be an ADS, and the ticker symbol is supposed to be SKHY. Some AI stocks saw some serious selling and profit taking, such as SanDisk. However, some Bitcoin and altcoin cryptocurrencies did rally. We'll take a look at a few. Today's video will be shorter than usual. Everyone's coming back from a holiday. So we'll just look at the highlights. SPY S&P 500 ETF. It says here on TradingView, the overnight price did rally ever so slightly. Take a quick look at futures. Very, very slight gap up of just 0.24%, about 20 points. The largest structure that I'm seeing in SPY is this. It's starting to consolidate into this larger type of symmetrical triangle. And if we're only looking at the triangle, it does look like there's resistance at this upper trend line, right below 748. Checking pivots, that's not an extreme pivot on a daily, but it is bouncing off the lower support pivot. So the way I'm interpreting this is if we lose 740 support on this downside, then we could have a problem where it might retrace down to about 737 or 735. If it's extreme, it'll just pierce down 729 again, but that would probably be a lower Bollinger Band pierce. So I'm expecting it to just retest this 739, 737 area. Weekly chart, nothing extreme except for that flagging to the side. The weekly hit a pivot point, so that could be why we're rejecting. Next, NASDAQ QQQ ETF. We'll simplify the chart here. Start with the price pattern. We can already see multiple top resistance below 737 on QQQ. This bottom side support is debatable. I'm going to draw it like this, where I'm getting as many touch points and piercings as possible. And even though in the overnight we did have this nice bounce to 718, which is futures bouncing up, the support level was 707. So if it's going to bounce up, see if we could retest the 726 or in this upper range. So it's because tech stocks and semiconductors already had the 1 or 2 day sell-off. There's a rebound that's happening right now. Dow Jones. So if AI and tech is selling off, what are people buying? They're buying Dow Jones and they're buying Russell 2000. They're also buying crypto. So how I look at this is, okay, we'll look at the up cross, beautiful. Then I look for my upside resistance levels. Next resistance is 530 even, and above that 533. So if I put this support below me to this bottom side here, that we can see it's really, really riding that there should be an 8 EMA, just right off the 8 EMA, bouncing, and break out to the upside. But the stochastic RSI is getting overbought, so it's probably going to be a little bit more rally and then a pullback once it gets to that RSI above 80. The weekly is a nice green, strong candle, pierced through that weekly resistance. So it did not reject. This almost looks like a short squeeze. Russell 2000, IWM, we can see rejected below the pivot point of 302, hitting that support level of 296. Still in this strong uptrend. Support to the downside would be 292. There's a shooting star from last week, so a little bit more cautious on IWM. Let's just go ahead and skip to crypto. Actually, I'll do semiconductors and then crypto. We'll hit the major highlights. So last week, my call about this potential head and shoulders was true, and we broke below the neckline, pulled back, hit the pivot point here, 582, and then rebound to 601 in the post-market. So how I'm going to analyze this and possibly even replay SMH is it pulled back to this 8 EMA in this kind of teal blue on a weekly. So that's why we're bouncing. The robots, the algos know once we hit the EMA, the program to buy and just risk some amount to buy it. On the daily chart, it almost hit the 50 EMA, but there's still a problem in my opinion, because if this was supposed to be nonstop AI chip growth, it's not actually going up constantly. Some people are taking their profits, so there's an invisible sell wall here below 673, 662. And if the head and shoulders pattern is supposed to play out, there's a little fake out, and then we got the crash, which algorithms programmed to do that. 5% down would be 580. And 10% down would be 550, which is a big drop. And if we put this extended trend line, it looks like it wants to right now in the post-market retest that pivot point. So the resistance is 630. If we don't break above 630, 650, then we're probably in trouble for SMH in the short term. DRAM. We can see DRAM here. I like this. If I go to 4 hour, you can see in the post-market, at least in the overnight price, I like this new overnight price by TradingView. Even if the candle's not completed yet, it's showing me the overnight price is 65. So there's a little bounce here, and that's okay. I like to see a bounce rather than a capitulation crash. And so I'm going to draw two support lines on the downside. We actually crashed into the pivot point, which was actually forecastable, $60. Let's put up a Fibonacci to see how well this correlates. Right to the 382, the yellow line, and a pivot point, and a trend line. So there's triple support at that spot. $60, probably algorithms and traders anticipating that spot. It hit 4 hour oversold. It hit hourly oversold with momentum. That's why we're bouncing, but we're still in the intraday downtrend here on DRAM. If I flip back to SMH, it's still an intraday downtrend, right? This hourly is still looking down. This is the lower high. So beware, there could still be potential sell-off. It's because the 8 EMA is below the 21 EMA. I need to see something more like double bottom, reversal, breakout above the pivot, and then some more conservative traders will jump back into SMH. But the aggressive oversold traders, day traders, robots, they're probably already in there. Total. And remember not to get confused. There's something called total energy or total transport systems. So we have to be on crypto total market cap, the index by crypto cap here on TradingView to look at this. And yes, last week or for a couple weeks, I was a little bit bearish, but once I saw the support that was happening on this weekly, on this daily chart, this is a double bottom, and there's some double momentum that happened. I hinted at it last time that we're starting to get actually some oversold and bullish momentum, even though my target was way down there, a lot deeper. But still, the technicals work. And once we have this bullish divergence, it's supposed to go stronger than that, meaning the rally should be stronger. So I think people are just testing the waters in terms of crypto, just buying a little small position here. If I draw this trend line, it actually broke out of that trend line, and we're having some kind of support. If I want to include the recent high. I'll probably back this up here to something like this to get more candles in there. So we can even see it's in the downtrend, and there's this little small little W. So if it's going to get continuation, hopefully it doesn't pull back too hard, but the upside target could be 10% with the 5% stop loss. So yes, I was thinking about the 618 down here on Bitcoin like last time, but even on Bitcoin, the technical still reigns supreme. We had this bullish divergence, bullish momentum, stochastic oversold, double squeeze momentum, higher low on the RSI. The weekly is still in play. We start to get a little bit of squeeze, a little bit of oversold. 4 hours really where this turned around, where we made a lower low and then a higher high in the MACD and the RSI. So traders really got in there. Wonderful. Now, the only problem that I'm seeing at the time of making this video is I don't want to FOMO too hard, right? Is that we're at this resistance level of 63,515. So if it does not break above 63,500, I'm expecting maybe a small little baby pullback because we're still in the downtrend. What's really going to get us out of here, you can see it's right at resistance at trend line. So I don't want to be buying that so hard. Honestly, I missed this trade, which is fine. I was doing other things. So I'm just going to see if it pulls back again, then maybe that's a re-entry. If it goes even lower, that's definitely a buy for me, just as a trade, right? Because it did get that 2 or 3 times below Bollinger Band, and that's enough for algorithms and traders. But right now, this is not an ideal buy spot. I need to see it pull back. Maybe 60,000. 60,000 could be a next re-entry. It would be nice to see if we finally get a breakout, fake out to 65, retest 60, and then we're making a new uptrend. That would be nice. So it's right at the cusp of potentially it could go up, but at this exact moment in time, it's selling off below that pivot point in the Asia session. Ethereum is very similar too. Why is this happening? First off, we had the double bottom on Ethereum, quick poke out below Bollinger Band, attempted short squeeze, longs rallied, getting overbought here on intraday time frames. Was overbought on hourly, was overbought on a 4 hour. This RSI is cooling off right now. It's on the cool down. And it's still good news for me because the 1 hour is up cross, 4 hours about to up cross, but it looks like it wants to make possibly a rest with the lower low here, possibly around 1732. And maybe the next reentry would be in this EMA cluster or around the pivot point here of 1700 range. Let's go to XRP. A lot of things had this double bottom. A lot of cryptos had this support double bottom, right? But it does not mean we're about to go green moon. That's not what it means. We're still in the downtrend. This was a temporary bounce to the EMA touch. And so if you know shorting, if you know downtrend and from experience, lower low, lower high, is just because it touches and rallies into an EMA does not mean we're about to go 500% up. We have to get really, really deep oversold. I do see this has quite a large double momentum here. So I need to see the support above 110 hold. 110 holds, the more we hold, let's say we get upside down here and shoulders a reversal, this could be the cusp of a potential reversal unless there's extremely bad news and we have another sell-off. Let's do one more. Let's do Solana. Why does Solana have a rally? Quite simply, even though we are in the death cross and downtrending, even though I was forecasting, $50, $40, $20. Usually that happens when we're near a bottom. Honestly, when all the analysts or even myself, we start saying, oh, we could crash down negative 50% or negative 25%. Usually, in my experience, that marks some kind of temporary trading bottom. Also, why did it bounce is very simple. Oversold on a daily. That's very rare to happen. So 1 month ago, hit that oversold, start to get the momentum. There is actually a little mini squeeze here, higher low into this rally. Now, are we about to revive on all cryptos? Not quite, not yet. I do like that we have a very, very large MACD histogram and TTM squeeze that's just building. It's only a matter of time before that finally explodes to the upside in a nice, beautiful rally. So it's not game over for Solana or for crypto. It's just a matter of we need to make sure we stop capitulation crash dropping. Like I was saying last time, I need to sit, okay, let's have a rally a little bit and go sideways. That's totally normal crypto. We just want to not see, uh-oh, we have another 10% or 20% or 50% drop in 30 days. That's bad. But if we hold this and slowly make higher lows, and we never drop below $60, $70 Solana again for 1, 2, 3 months, we could potentially bottom. It's not impossible. It's just the chances are, just from my experiences, usually it needs to get really oversold. Everybody quits crypto, then the price goes sideways, and there's 1 or 2 major positive catalysts that takes us back to the upside. So that's all I'm waiting for. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you had a nice weekend. Hope you have a nice week. And remember, even for myself, let's remember risk management, patience, discipline, emotional control, and position sizing. Remember, there's still 5 months, 6 months left of this year, basically, 5 months left. So we have another earnings season coming up. We have another FOMC meeting. Let's try to make it to the end and have a nice year. Thank you, everyone. If you like this video, learn something, consider subscribing, hit the like button, leave a nice comment, and I'll see you in the next video.